often, I play video games to escape the real world, which is hard, into a fantasy world where I'm great at everything, including solving puzzles. So imagine my dismay when those in-game puzzles send me back to the real world with some tricksy IRL meta layer where I have to fire up a browser, rifle through actual papers or some other nonsense before I can actually solve them. So be prepared to return to reality for these 7 impossible puzzles you had to solve in the stupid real world. Oh, and of course, beware spoilers for the following games.
In Alien Isolation, the main puzzle is don't get got by the alien. Ah, you tried. But there are also plenty of other actual puzzles around the game, like checking the whiteboard in the medical bay to find out which rooms you have to crawl into looking for a keycard. Morley. This would be a lot easier if there wasn't a big xenomorph trying to turn me into a kebab. However, one puzzle that will give you some respite can be found in a workroom in the Sevastopol spaceflight terminal. Here lies the body of Mike Tanaka, along with drawings of his crewmates, drawings of the xenomorph, and a heartbreaking message to his family.
Anna, I am so sorry. You were right. I never should have come here. Please tell Beth and Heidi. Tell them that I love them more than anything.
If you don't want to end up the same way as poor Mike here, in this room there's also a large case full of Molotovs, flamethrower fuel, and all sorts of other ammo goodies. But in order to get to them, you'll have to do something that is nowadays as stressful as being hunted by a xenomorph. Open up Twitter. Turns out, Tanaka had a Twitter account here in the actual real world before the alien got to him and before the game was even announced in January 2014. Sneaky. Here he shared his artwork, absolutely terrifying posts documenting the xenomorph murdering his crewmates and, most importantly, the code for his locker. Input these 4 digits and voila, you'll get your hands on all those goodies. And all you had to do was go on the worst social media site.
Under most circumstances, you wouldn't want to get water on any bits of paper from a video game box, on account of how they might be special collectible art prints whose value would be massively reduced by water damage. In the case of StarTropics on the Nintendo Entertainment System, however, things were a little different. At one point, in order to progress through the game, you have to input a radio frequency code on your ship's navcom to find your uncle who goes by Dr. Jones. A yippee-yi-you, a yippee-yi-yay, a yippee-yi-you. Ah, that's a reference to an Aqua song. Gen Z kids, look it up. Right before this, you're told by your pal Babu that Dr. Jones's last words to him were, "Tell Mike to dip my letter in water." Fair enough, except you didn't have a letter in the game, but instead a real-life paper letter from your in-game uncle included in the game's box. Sure enough, if you wetted the blank part of the page, a secret message would show up, telling you the frequency of a transmitter hidden in Dr. J's shoe. Cool, but now my collectible is going to be all wrinkled. So... This meant that, especially in the days before the internet, the game was technically unplayable if you bought it second-hand without the letter. So when a digital re-release on the Wii came out, it included an image of a pre-dipped letter in its also digital manual. Although Nintendo forgot to do this for the Switch re-release, making it impossible to complete on your own. Lucky for Nintendo, I haven't completed a game without using the internet since 1997. The year of Aqua's seminal hit single, Dr. Jones, by the way. Again, Gen Z kids, treat yourselves.
What do we have here? A train ticket for the Moulintary Express.
Now this is strange. Look, there's no destination written on this ticket. Have you ever seen a train ticket that didn't say where it was taking you?
Yes, very strange indeed.
There is a whole host of puzzles within Professor Layton and Pandora's Box, or if you're a player in North America, Professor Layton and the Diabolical Box, presumably because Nintendo didn't think you knew enough about Greek mythology. Whatever name you know it as, the game is filled to the brim with brain teasers, and not just to the brim of Professor Layton's swish top hat. In fact, you guessed it, there is even a puzzle outside of the game, but inside of the box. The game box, that is, not Pandora's box or the Diabolical Box. At the start of the game, Professor Layton and his flat-capped helper Luke find Layton's old professor Dr. Schrader's seemingly dead, having previously been in possession of the Diabolical Box, also known as the Elysian Box, to make it even more confusing.
Knowing you, I imagine you've already heard of the relic known as the Elysian Box.
Included in the game box was a physical copy of the train ticket for the Moulintary Express, the same as you find on Dr. Schrader within the game. Initially it seems as if the ticket has no destination, but Professor Layton realises that actually no, it does have one printed on it after all, and you can find out what it is by doing real hands-on detective work.
Well, it seems that the destination was staring us in the face all along.
Really?
If you fold the physical ticket up together like the game tells you to, like this person here, you get the destination full sense. From this, you can work out the missing number that was ripped off of the ticket, pop that into the game, and keep on playing to solve the mystery of Pandora's box. Or the Diabolical Box, or the Elysian Box. Okay, can we just agree on one name next time?
I give and bequeath to my grandnephew, Simon P. Jones, son of my dear niece, Mary Matthew, all of my right, title, and interest in and to the house and land which I own near Mount Holly. The above provision and bequest is contingent on my aforementioned grandnephew discovering the location of the 46th room of my 45-room estate.
In the blueprints, you play the heir to a mysterious shape-shifting mansion whose layout changes daily. In order to inherit said mansion, you must reach room 46. To do this, you must visit day after day, choosing its floor plan from various blueprints. Yes, the name is a pun. Yes, I very much enjoy that fact. Reaching room 46 is not as easy as simply plopping down rooms until you get to the end of the house. There are puzzles within these rooms, puzzles between different rooms, and puzzles that are affected by what day it is or where in the house a room is placed. There are so many things to keep track of, which may be why the game outright tells you to write things down in a notepad. And no, it's not an in-game notepad like some games have, they mean an actual, real-life paper notepad. And yes, it's invaluable. If you have played any amount of blueprints, you will have a notepad with scrawlings about different rooms, different codes, different days, drawings of symbols and sketches of stained glass windows. If anyone found it, they would assume you've been spending too much time on the weirder side of Reddit cooking up some fancy new conspiracies. But in reality, it's just a bunch of notes to help you get to room 46. And then once you've done that, well, that's when the game really starts. So, better get another notebook.
A new recruit? Could that be the Colonel's niece?
I gave her the key. Looks like she managed to break out of here, though. I hope she's okay.
I'm sure she is. She's green, but as tough as they come. But how did you know she escaped?
I was in contact with her by codec. Until I was tied up here, that is.
Codec?
Yes, she stole it from the guard. If she still has it, you should be able to contact her.
Hideo Kojima is no stranger to a bit of fourth wall breaking in the Metal Gear Solid series. Whether that be making you unplug and plug in your controller to beat a boss, or putting himself and his entire face in the game.
That was perfect.
Better not lose those glasses out of that helicopter. Those frames look expensive. One meta puzzle found in the very first Metal Gear Solid is when you need to find your pal Meryl's codec. Throughout the game, you're constantly feeding different frequencies into your radio, but you don't have Meryl's codec right out the gate. Instead, you must find it for yourself or with the help of someone else.
I'm sure she still has it. What frequency was she at?
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, it's... Oh, sorry. I forgot.
Oh, thanks. Very helpful.
Oh, that's right. It should be on the back of the CD case.
Oh, right, well, that is more helpful. Except it's not really, because the in-game CD you have can't be turned all about and examined like a piece of evidence in LA Noire. Instead, what you're supposed to do is examine the game box, which, yes, games used to come on actual compact discs in boxes, not massive downloads right onto your hard drive. Rotate your real-world game box and you'll see a picture of Snake chatting to Meryl on the radio, and yes, the frequency is 140.15. Digital re-release versions of Metal Gear Solid had to include an online manual where you could turn over a digital version of the game box like so. But for OG 90s players, the puzzle could only be solved by looking at the actual box of your actual game CD.
Who are you?
And not your brand new copy of Green Day's Insomniac. Although knowing Kojima, I wouldn't put it past him. Maybe take a look.
The Nintendo DS was a game changer of a console. I mean, Beyoncé played it. Beyoncé.
And I could just let loose, have fun, and not have to think too much.
Celebrities, they're just like us. The unique design of the Nintendo DS allowed players to use not just buttons for game input, but one of its dual screens was a touchscreen. So loads of developers made some seriously interesting puzzles.
Oh no.
Most of these included drawing something with the DS's stylus, but one game in particular went in a very different direction. Namely, briefly stopping you from playing the game. In The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass, you guide Link all over the world of the Ocean King, finding different temples that will help him on his journey. But before you can get to the Temple of Courage, you have to copy its location from a framed sea chart to your map. So you draw on it? No, silly, you have to stop playing the game altogether. Well, technically, and not for very long. Yup, rather than marking the location on your map with your stylus, you have to, quote, press the sacred crest against the sea chart to transfer it. What this translates to is open up your map and close your DS lid, thereby pushing your screens together and also shutting down the game entirely. Upon reopening your console, you'll discover that, wow, the location has magically been copied across. In fact, this stumps so many players that in any comment section or forum that discusses this puzzle, we found that many people discovered this by accident. They would close their Nintendo DS in frustration or because they had to go do something else, only to open it back up later and discover a solved puzzle. Oh, wonder if that had worked with the Wordle I gave up on earlier. No.
Hey. Paper? Geez, they'll make conduits out of anything these days.
Do you know what video game publishers love to make you do? They love to make you sign up for accounts and link those accounts to other accounts and link those accounts to your games. They're a kooky bunch like that. In infamous Second Son, for example, in order to access some free DLC called Paper Trail, you had to go to a special tie-in website, do some quizzes, and most importantly, link up your PSN account. Sorry to any PC Helldivers 2 players if that made your eye twitch. Paper Trail gave players a whole extra mystery to solve, which required they not only run around in-game Seattle, but regularly head back to the Paper Trail website in order to do a bunch more puzzles and solve some crimes. Each stage of the mystery required you to jump between playing the game and taking a trip to this website where new evidence would appear in your account, giving you yet more puzzles. This was all very fun, and I'm sure the marketing department enjoyed talking about a viral, multi-platform, multimedia adventure, but in truth, it was probably just a lot cheaper and easier to build a tie-in website than to create a specific in-game crime-solving UI. Sadly, the site closed in December 2018, but developers Sucker Punch updated the game to make sure that the missions were still playable and completable purely in-game, giving some hints on where to get started in an announcement on the developer's website. So technically, you did still need to visit a website, but a different one. Also, that announcement is no longer on the website. So, good luck everyone, off to the forums you go.
I was afraid of that.
So those are some puzzles in video games that were actually out of video games and you had to solve them in the real world. What the heck, video games? You're my escapism. Why? Don't remind me that the real world exists, especially not right now. But you can forget that the real world exists by staying on YouTube and watching some more videos from us where we talk about fun things in video games and silly things in video games and all that jazz. And if you want to support us further, you've got you can subscribe, hit that like button, and we've got a Patreon where you can become an OX Club member and join the Discord and ask us questions there and chat to other lovely members. But in the meantime, take care of yourself and yeah, just play video games. It's fine, everything's fine.